This is DAHBOO77, as we are living in unprecedented times here. All the madness happening worldwide. We've got a lot of chaos happening here in this country, in America itself. As you can see here, food lines are just insanely long at this point. We have a couple different shots here showing, aerial shots, showing them handing out food at these locations. And for the first time ever, millions of working, poor Americans are forced to turn to these food bank lines. We haven't seen anything like this since the Great Depression, guys. So this would be, for a lot of people in this lifetime, the first time that something like this has unraveled. And the one place that millions of Americans are finding themselves are in these lines. And it started in March, and it doesn't look like it's going to be getting any better. All part of what is happening here, wiping out jobs, with unemployment running out. We have this moratorium which is going to expire that was supposed to save people from getting kicked out in the streets. It's going to expire here at the end of the year for many people. And we're going to have a crisis right there. If you thought the homeless situation was bad, the loss of jobs, unemployment, the starving was bad, they're saying 2021 is going to be worse. Already this year we have seen huge traffic jams in many different states. San Antonio, Texas, Toledo, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Orlando, Florida, where thousands of vehicles come out carrying these people that are starving, that sit in these lines for up to 12 hours to get food. Is this how you want to spend your weekend? This is how many people are spending their days and weekends just to survive and get by at this point. For those that don't see it, you need to open your eyes and see what's happening here. Take a good look, because it's coming right around the corner to a neighborhood near you. Okay, so 200 food banks nationwide seeing their demand rise, and they're overwhelmed. So anyone out there that can help fellow Americans, please do. We're in trying times. This is about knowledge and helping one another and educating people as to what's really happening here. So as you are helping folks out there, drop some knowledge, drop some jewels. Help awaken them to what we're going through here and who's pulling it off. If you want to listen into a live stream where someone breaks it down, send them over my way. DLive. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Breaking home.
Shalom. And foremost, give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakadash. Salutation to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones that like teach 100% true. Shalom, Barakathon to them. For the edification and knowledge and double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones that like teach 100% true. Shalom, Barakathon to them. And foremost, give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakadash. I was talking about a DAHBOO7 video relating to millions of poor working Americans had to turn to food banks, man. This is the times we're in, man. In various cities, various states and various cities, such as Texas, it has the state of Orlando and different other cities, major cities across the country. You know what I mean? Plus the unemployment, people losing their jobs relating to this Crown Royal or relating to the virus. These number of cases increasing, so the unemployment. You got this eviction moratorium, which is ended this year, December 31st. So that's leaving a lot of people limbo as far as what's going to happen to them. And you have unemployment, the eviction moratorium. You have a lot of homelessness. It was a video I was looking at where a guy was showing pretty much in Hollywood all the homeless tents in the Hollywood area. And homelessness is growing in various major cities across the country, man. We're in the precursors of a lot of things happening, man. I want to get Second Ezra 15:14 through 19. That's the times we're in. The 2 Ezra 15, 14 to 19. Woe into the world and them that dwell therein. That's pretty much a warning for the pretty much of the inhabitants of the world, man. Pretty much saying there's not going to be good times that's coming ahead. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's civil unrest, man. And that's the times we're in. We're in the precursors of that. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings, their princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. It relates to mutiny, sedition, violent uprising. They're not regarding the kings and princes, ones in power, because pretty much of the pre-hellish state and condition society is becoming. And a good example is that these millions of working Americans had to turn to food banks because they can't get food. They're hungry. They're unemployed. They can barely pay their rent. They had to resort to getting these food banks, and these food banks are limited in supplies as far as what they can give out, man. Because we're in the precursors of global famine. You have the locust all over affecting different global vegetation in Africa, Asia, and different parts of the world, man. So that's going to cause potentially a precursor of a global famine, man. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's martial law. Curfews, lockdowns, only movement to and fro for essential businesses, essential workers. We're going to be in the second wave of that, relating to that. Number 18. Well, because of their pride, cities shall be in trouble. City shall be trouble. We'll read that again. For because of their pride, the city shall be trouble, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. It relates to the state and condition of society. These cities are going to be in trouble. Houses shall be destroyed. And men, women, children shall be afraid. That relates to the hellish state and condition society is going to be coming into. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. So they're not going to have regard for your neighbor, whether they're friendly towards you or not, whether they know you or not, because it's going to be desperate times. People are going to be in a desperate state of mind relating to, because limited supplies, man. There's going to come a time where it's going to be not so supplies are going to be limited. They're already precursorily scarce, relating to in these for example supermarkets, two per item, per item per person. You know what I mean? So we the precursors of that as a high demand but limited supply. And the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread. That's famine. We the precursors of great tribulation, and for the great tribulation, and that's where we're in. And these food lines and millions of poor Americans have to resort to going on the food lines. So we the precursors of a lot of things going on, and not in a good way. I'm going to go to Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19, let's start at 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst thereof. That's pretty much the Yahweh shall return on these chariots, and the chariots coming back to pretty much on Egypt, which is here, the powerful nation related to America, man. And I will set Egyptian against Egyptian. That relates to citizen, whether here or abroad, in other countries, respectfully. And they shall fight everyone against his brethren, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Things happen in different places, fearful sightings, times of troubles. We're in the times of birth pangs. And that's the times we're in, man. And the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek idols and charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to wizards. That relates to idolatry, sorcery, witchcraft. So the Lord is going to come visit the nation relating to the multitudes of nations, and pretty much punish the wicked, man. Vengeance on the wicked, man. And pretty much eradicate relating to their idolatry, their worship, their sorcery, and destroy that. That relates to pretty much the majority of the population, man, because more is going to perish than be saved. And the Egyptian will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. That's the one who's in power. A cruel Lord is the one who's ruling, a ruler, a king, one who's in a position of power, man. And a fierce king shall rule over them, and saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, the Lord of hosts, which is the army. So a fierce king is going to rule over the multitude of nations of people. And that fierce nation is not going to have no regard for young or old. That fierce nation is not going to have regard, period, man. And this relates to the burden of Egypt, man. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. Before I go to 16 and 18, I'm going to go to 2nd Ezra 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. For many great misery shall be done unto them. This is 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. For many great misery shall be done unto them in the latter times. And in the latter times shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. And this relates to the multitudes and nations of people, specifically the 2/3 of the wicked, man, because they have walked in great pride. And because of that great pride, they're going to be visited by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You know what I mean? The Lord is going to begin to visit what he has made, man. 2nd Ezra 9 and 2. Measure thy time diligently in thyself, in itself. So the Lord is going to begin to visit. And he's visiting with different plagues, pestilence, famines, and different things. So in the latter times, he's going to visit upon relating to the wicked of the multitudes of nation and people, man. And many great miseries are going to come. Part of that is the pestilence, the famines, the plagues that are going to come upon them because of their great pride, man. Because of their great pride. Now go to 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. The beginnings of sorrows and great mourning, the beginnings of famine and great death, the beginnings of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginnings of evils. And what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, the famine, the plague, tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for the memory. And for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, for example, such as the sword, the famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell on the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And pretty much inevitable, inescapable things, simultaneously, one after another. And many people are going to try to escape one thing, but they're going to fall right in the face of another one. 23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down and desolate because of the things that's going on relating to these different types of things, such as pestilence, famine, cannibalism, terrifying vision of warfare. That's pretty much World War WW3. For the second woe is past, and the third will come quickly. That's what Revelations. That's going to happen too, as well. So all these things relating to that 23rd verse, there's literally going to be people falling out, dying, because of the intense relating to the condition of society is going to be. So people are not going to be able to mourn or grieve even for ones they see. It's going to look like a movie, apocalyptic movie you see on a sci-fi channel. That's going to be a reality relating to these scriptures, man. That's going to happen. That's going to manifest, and it will happen. Regardless who believes it or not, it don't matter. Because whether you believe it or not, it's still not going to make it non-effect. Because it's going to come to pass. Because scripturally speaking, it says so. That being said, I hope it helps. Whoever listens, give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rakadash. The water for listening, Shalom.